help if I took the lens cap off of my camera. Hello, and welcome to Plugin Along, a stream dedicated to LOTRO plugins. Last time on Plugin Along, we got the Harwick map working in the Hytbold plugin. It responded to the /LOC command and shows where we are for a brief period of time. So today we're going to keep going with that. We need to be able to show each of the chest locations for the dress-up quest that we're working on and be able to stop showing them as well as we progress the quest. And we're also going to be doing giveaways today because we have, I think, 6 more codes that are going to expire when the new store comes out, and we'd rather give them to you. So we're going to be doing some giveaways in chat. I or Little Redhead will be running that periodically throughout the next couple of hours, so stick around for that. Spoiler alert, I think it's all just 100 LOTRO point codes. I think we have run through all of the cosmetic pets and other things as well. But 100 LOTRO points, nothing to sneeze at. That's like 20 different deeds right there. So cool. As always, feel free to jump into chat with your thoughts and questions. I think Pamela has already mentioned a thing. Okay. Pamela, to your knowledge, do you know if the Babel plugin might cause some of the issues with secure trading between players? I've never had any problem trading with others. The only time I did was when I had the Babel plugin running. Apparently, some players will experience the game shutting down if they attempt a secure trade, which is just trading in-game. There's no insecure trading in-game. So to answer your question, I cannot think of a mechanism by which a plugin could interfere or affect how the game does secure trading, because that's not exposed to plugins at all. Plugins aren't told when a trade is happening, not when it starts, not when it ends. But we have seen the thing that you're talking about, where the trade window opens, people can drag things back and forth, and as soon as both people have hit trade, one of the people in that will be absolutely fine, and one of them will close to desktop. The trade still goes through, there's no loss of items, there's no item duplication, but one of them, the unlucky person, will just have their client closed to desktop, which is a little disconcerting when you don't realize it's happening. Now, we have seen a workaround proposed in the community for that, so let me go ahead and bring up my desktop and let's look at that. So, we're looking at your Documents Lord of the Rings Online directory, and within this there is a User Preferences. Now, by default, you would not want to spend a lot of time mucking about in the user preferences, but you absolutely can open it up and look at it. So for anyone who's experiencing that specific crash problem, try, and you can always undo this later, just remember what your user specified port is. For me, it's on line 100. It's not necessarily for you, but it is going to be spelled user specified port. You can find it by searching for port, and there's only 3 entries in here. Oh, hey, there's an enable portraits. Interesting. So you can go ahead and just change that to, say, 9000, 9001, 9002. Give that a try, save it, make sure you exit out of LOTRO and come back in, and see if you still get that bug. We've known players who will get that every time when they're participating in a trade. They will be the crashing person. We've known people who have modified this value, and then it stopped happening to them. I don't know that it's going to fix everyone's trade crash bug issue, but we have seen it be successful. This happens especially where it seems to be happening more, where there's more than one LOTRO client happening in a specific location. For instance, Little Redhead and I are often playing at the same time, and it seemed like until we played around with this, she was the unlucky one. Whenever we did a trade, she would crash to desktop, and I would be left waiting for her to log back in. And so playing around with this let us play without either of us crashing to desktop. Specifically, I think we set each of ours to an explicit but different value, so I was like 9001, she was 9002, something like that. So it's worth trying. Just be ready to undo it. Just put it back. For instance, we just saw that this was 0 when I logged in, so I'm going to put it back to 0. And Pamela asked, does it matter what number you change the value to? I don't recall. I believe the advice we've read on the forums, an iteration or two ago, suggested 9,000 or, increment by ones from there, 9,001, 9,002, 9,003. That seemed to work, so I haven't bothered to play around with if any other values work. So that would be a thing to try. See if it helps. It may not, but we've seen some success with that. Sid, the coach, says typically it's in the case in Fellowship/Raid inside the instance environment exacerbates it. That could be. I definitely remember it happening with Little Redhead when we were in the three-bore crafting. I forget the name of it, but the crafting hall in the three-bore statue area. Like, we'd be trading back and forth in there, and it could trigger it there as well. So I don't know if there's a specific set of this exacerbates it, or if or what the details of it. But give it a try. And Sid the Coach says it's like 9,000 to 9,010. So stick in there and just be prepared to... Oh, I would definitely recommend anytime you have played the game for a while, make a backup of this user preferences.ini file. I have, config backups. I just save them off every once in a while. It's been a while since I've saved these, actually. So, 2023, 07, 25. What do I put in here? The key map and the user preferences. Let's do that right now. So I'm going to take those, go into my config backups. The reason to do this is every once in a while, for whatever reason, if LOTRO cannot read these files, it continues on, but it just goes to a default configuration. And when you are done for that session, it writes out that default configuration, blowing away any customization you might have done. This is probably a better option than if it can't read the file, it just crashes, but it does mean that if for whatever reason there's an error when it tries to read that file, the effect is that you will lose your customization. I think usually user preferences, I don't think LOTRO key map, I don't think I've ever seen that happen to it. But it's such a tiny file, back it up anyway. In fact, I'm not even sure this customized is there, so that could be something I made. I think it is something I made. It's okay. It's such a tiny file, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I definitely recommend back up your LOTRO.keymap, back up your user preferences, even if you're not changing ports to something custom, because in that 1 in 1,000 chance that you lose your preferences, there's a lot of stuff in here that you don't want to have to go back in and recustomize. So yeah, give that a try. Okay, Pamela, I would be very interested to hear back on whether that was at all effective. But for now, let's go ahead and move on. We're going to go ahead and... Pamela says, cool, thank you so much. Yeah, you're welcome. We're going to go ahead and hopefully Little Redhead hasn't been doing this in the background and start a new giveaway. This is going to be for 100 LOTRO points, as expected. So, we're going to leave this open for, 15, 20 minutes or something. If we reach the end of the stream and I still haven't given all the codes away, then the last giveaway is just going to run through all the codes there. Well, we're giving away 6 of them in the stream one way or the other. But do enter !giveaway in the chat. We're going to, for now, just say only one winner, only one winning during this Plugin Along stream per person. So, to keep it reasonably fair. Okay, so Hytbold. Hytbold is a location in eastern Rohan. It's kind of some endgame experience as well as Wildemore. Once you're done questing in each of the, the Wold and the Norcrofts and the Sutcrofts and the Entwash Vale. Once you're done questing in there, they'll, or really once you've reached level 84, they will send you to Hytbold to begin the rebuilding. And this is a really interesting place because the state of the town will change as you rebuild it. It gets prettier and nicer and refurbished. The milestone will appear, it's not there. The stablemaster will appear, it's not there, and so on. I think a barber shows up at the mead hall. All of these good things. And so the rebuilding Hytbold is a thing you can start at level 84, and is a convenient way to finish becoming kindred with each of the 4 factions of the Eastern Rohan. Because the tokens that you're getting, the tokens of Hytbold, can be exchanged 5 tokens for 1200 reputation with any of those 4 factions. And you need to be kindred with each of these 4 factions in order to finish the rebuilding of Hytbold. So there's some nice synergy there where you can go ahead and get a bunch of tokens of Hytbold, get to kindred with each of those factions, and then finish rebuilding of Hytbold. Okay, that being said, I do need... Nope, I don't need that one. I need the Aiding the Easternmet quest. Aiding the Easternmet, once you have accepted it, allows you to pick up other Hytbold quests. And we're going to go over to Harwick, because that's where the dress-up quest is. Hytbold does have a bit of a long run out. Excellent. And Harwick. Excellent. Harwick's, I tend to think of these as capital cities. It's the House of the Reeve. Harwick is the home of the Reed for the Wold. You also have Cliving for the Norcrofts, and Snowbourne for the Suckcrofts, and Aylworth for the Antwash Vale. And that's the location of... Oh, I'm not sure I could pin that thing. And that's the location of these Aiding the Easternmet Rebuilding Hytbold quests. You'll find it just outside the Mead Hall or the Reeve Hall in each of those locations. Okay, so mild spoilers, of course, if you haven't done the Hytbold stuff, and that was your chance to get out if you don't want to hear them. There's going to be 3 quest givers in each of these 4 locations, and they follow a pretty familiar formula. One of them is going to give you pairs of quests to go do in public instances. So the first 2 in Defense of Harwick, the second 2 in Dechalan, and so on. One of them will just have a single quest to go to a public instance to defeat mounted enemies, which is very handy because there is a deed for defeating mounted enemies in Eastern Rohan, and I just have a harder problem than I feel like I should advancing that on landscape. But there's these things where it's just like, hey, go get another 10, go get another 8, go get another 6. And doing these, it really helps make progress in those deeds. And then the final one is the sort of fun, quirky quests that are thematic to the area that you're in. So if you're in Snowbourne, there's, I think, 4 different fishing quests. And conveniently, they will teach you how to fish if you don't know yet. I learned that and then got 8... And 8 advancement in my fishing was all I needed to finish off each of those quests once. There's a deed for completing each of these quests in each of these areas. So there's 4 different deeds for that, and then a meta deed, I think, on top of that. And of the 3 quirky quests here in Harwick, one of them is called Dress Up. We're going to go ahead and accept that. What is it? The children love to play dress up with various pieces of scrap armor that they have been able to find. They do not fit into any of it, but have a model they play with. I'm sure they would love to see someone dressed up like it, dancing about. Now, you don't actually have to do the /dance emote, but you do have to find each of the pieces and come stand in front of the model. So, the model is currently dressed like this, and there are 18 boxes scattered around town, 3 for each type. There's 3 different outfits, and there's a head, shoulders, chest, gloves, pants, and boots. LOTRO hadn't seen the pinning a post thing in Twitch before. Yeah, I discovered that while we were doing Extra Life last year, I think. And it was a convenient way that way if people were joining in the stream, I think you see the pin post like right away if you join the stream. And then we didn't have to like feel so bad that we weren't spamming chat with, hey, there's a giveaway, there's a giveaway, there's a giveaway, just in case people were joining. Inbrum says, wish I kept playing this years ago, started back, but feel overwhelmed with the amount of content to get through. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff to do in the game. One of the things I really like about playing on the Treebeard server, which is where we are right now, is as a legendary server, the content here is released periodically. So on Treebeard, that's around every 5 or 6 months, the next expansion comes. So we're now in the Eastern Rohan, well, Riders of Rohan expansion, and we're not going to get access to the Helm's Deep expansion until December. And so that gives it a lot of time to kind of breathe into the space that's available. That being said, play on any server. It's totally fine because you get a lot of chances to do whatever you want. If you want to spend your entire character life at level 20, just doing the level 20 stuff, you can do that. If you only want to follow the epic storyline and get to level 140 as fast as possible, you can do that. I'm a do everything kind of person, so I like completing all the quests and all the deeds that I can reasonably get to on my main character. But on my alts, I do less of that. Okay, so what else? So the coach, best type of deeding, the one that goes unnoticed and basically completes itself. Well, I do like deeds that reward you for doing the things you were going to do anyway. So here we are in Arvanian, we're in Eastern Rohan, so aiding the Eastern Net, yeah, if you complete aiding the Wold, aiding the Antwash Vale, aiding the Norcrofts, and Sutcrofts, you can complete aiding the Eastern Net. And you get some seed experience, tokens of Hytbold, and enhancement runes. And I would say, yeah, I might not do those fishing quests on my not main character if it weren't for that deed. Okay. Crazy Life says, Hytbold is a breeze now. I'm glad they made it easier. Pamela says, I still feel that way almost a year into it. It's very understandable. Yeah. Little Redhead says there are often groups starting up that quest together from the beginning, so maybe grouping up with some regular folks would help give you some parameters. Yeah, you'll sometimes hear the term slowtro, which is LOTRO but slow, where people kind of play the game with intent, and they're explicitly not trying to rush to any particular milestone. They just play at a measured pace. Crazy Life says, is the grind for Hytbold also altered since they updated it some years ago to make it faster to complete? So there's two things that you can do that are different about Hytbold. Sorry, there's one thing that's definitely different about Hytbold that's worth knowing is that the cost of rebuilding things has been lowered by quite a lot. It was the case. Let me come in here because I was just working on this. Okay. It was the case that most of the quests to rebuild Hytbold cost 5 or 10 tokens of Hytbold. And now, except for the very first, the Mead Hall rebuild, which I think they give you 25 tokens and then you immediately spend them on the quest. So that one, I think, is unchanged. But the rest of rebuilding Hytbold is just 1 token to do the thing. 1 token for outdoor enhancements 1, 1 token for outdoor enhancements 2, and so on. And so the number of tokens that you need to acquire has come down by orders of magnitudes. I want to say it was something like 1,000, 2,000. I don't know. It was much larger than 241. The other thing is that you cannot pick up Hytbold quests without having aiding the Eastern Net in your quest log. And aiding the Eastern Net will automatically complete with a daily reset after you complete 5 quests. But the game allows you to continue having these quests in your quest log even if you have canceled aiding the Eastern Net. So in an approach, if you are looking to kind of steam through your Hytbold experience, is to come to a cluster, pick up every one of these quests. Here, we'll just do it right now. So, oops, no, gotta click the right one. Pick up every one of these quests, and then we're going to drop the aiding the Eastern Net wrapper. Okay. Oh, I'm actually not going to bother taking the special ones right now. Well, it's fine. Rohirrim Bandits has a time limit on it, and so after 6 or 8 minutes, it'll auto-fail. And then Hobby Horse is fine. So pick these up, and you have a bunch of these quests. So I'm going to go ahead and remove them all. And then you come in and you would drop aiding the Eastern Net. And it doesn't cause you to drop all these other quests. Now we can see that one that I didn't pick up, I can't pick it up. The Rohirrim Bandits quest, I can't pick that up because I do not have Aiding the Eastman active. But if I went after a 5-minute cooldown for abandoning a quest, I can go pick that up again and get more quests. So the usual thing, just grab Aiding the Eastman, come to a one of the clusters, Cliving or Harwick or Snowburn or Aelworth, pick up all these quests, abandon Aiding the Eastman. It's going to take you at least 5 minutes to complete all of the quests at the cluster that you're going to complete, so it's fine. Once you have a high enough reputation, you can make your way back to Hytbold. But Hytbold's a really quick ride from Snowburn. So what I recommend is when you are starting the Hytbold process, set a milestone at Snowburn. And then if you need to, just ride overland to Hytbold. It's not that far. But as you get more of these tokens, you can get to, I think it's probably Friend. Maybe it's a... oh goodness, the one after Friend. One of those levels allows you to swift travel between the various Reeve cities, capital cities, and Hytbold. From a Hytbold, you can't travel out until you're kindred. Ally, I think you said. From Hytbold, I think you can't travel out to those locations until you're kindred with them. But it's fine. Again, Snowborn's really close. You want to get kindred with that one first. You can swift travel there or milestone there, and then swift travel to any of the other ones. Hytbold just has extra requirements on top of everything else. Crazy wondered if maybe on one of the slow legendary servers it may have been changed back. But in general, no. The content that is on the legendary servers is generally identical to what you see on the standard servers. This isn't... You wouldn't want to think of this like the classic WoW thing where they've gone back and dug up old code to simulate all the good and bad of an old version of the game. They have not done that. It's the current version of the game, current legendary item system, current traits, trait system, all of that, virtues is what I was really going for. Current virtue system, all of that just gated to what content you have access to. Agartha says, legendary is not vanilla as the meme goes. Yeah, it's a different way to experience the game, but I still very much appreciate what it does give us. For a while, it was the only place where you could do a landscape difficulty, which was a way to even to make your experience on landscape even more challenging. And even still, even though you can do landscape difficult anywhere, I still very much appreciate that my scope is narrowed here on Treebeard, where I'm tooling around in Eastern Rohan, and even if I wanted to, I can't go to Western Rohan, so I don't have to worry about it. I can't worry about it. I technically, you can walk into Western Rohan, and then the game will kick you out. So, just like, it doesn't exist. I don't have to worry about it. But it means our kinship, that several of us play together regularly on the weekends, and it means we've gotten a chance to play around with an instance that... or an instance cluster, really, that I had not really ever spent much time with, which was the road to Erebor. And so we've sort of convinced ourselves that we understand the fires of Smaug, which I've never done before because it's just been sitting there, but there's been so much else to do. And so being on Treebeard has been, well, better figure out fires of Smaug because that's what we have for the next couple of months. And so now I understand Fires of Smaug, I understand the battle for Erebor, and I understand Flight to the Lonely Mountain much better than I ever did on a standard server. So it's been a very helpful experience. Okay, awesome. I'm going to get a drink here. And then thank you so much for that. You know what? Spent so much time talking. Let's go ahead and do a giveaway. So this is your last warning for the 100-point LOTRO giveaway, except... spoiler alert, there's going to be 5 more of them after here. So do go ahead and get your exclamation point giveaway into chat now or in like 2 minutes. Or both. Okay. In the meantime, what are you? Flag. Oh, yeah. Don't care about that. Okay, so the dress-up model. We're going to go ahead and bring up the Hytbold Assistant, the new quest window that we're working on. And so this is 2 parts. Remembering what the model is wearing, and then finding it over in Hytbold. Oh, Hildegard, excellent. He got it in. I want to go ahead and use /LOC a bunch during this stream because /LC is going to allow this map to paint an arrow where we are. So I want to make a shortcut to it in this box right here. And if you're not familiar with how to do that, we can do /shortcut and space and the slot number. So the first row is 1 through 12. So the second one is through 24, 36, 48, 60. And so the next row starts at slot 61. And then the thing I'm putting in there is /LOC. And I'll go ahead and put that into Twitch chat there as well for anyone who wants to see it. So if you want to have shortcuts to typing various things, and I think it can be pretty freeform. So if I wanted to do /say, hello there, welcome to our gathering, then I should be able to just click that and it says, hey, hello there, welcome to our gathering. So this is sort of a bridge between typing everything and getting a plugin like Lyrical or Babel. Does Babel do it? Lyrical or Poetical, where you can pre-record whole bunches of text. And so if you have like two things that you want to say, maybe a plugin's overkill, you can just bind it to a shortcut in one of your spots. /say, hello there, welcome to our gathering. Now, plugins like Poetical, Lyrical, those kinds of things, much more flexible because you can easily edit these things or rearrange them, whatever the plugins let you do. But this is very nice in this case for /LOC. And then I have this specific location bound to my mouse wheel tilting to the right. So I can just flick my index finger to the right and do /LOCs. Now we can see the downside to anything that is /LOC based is LOC dumps something to the standard chat channel. And by default, the standard chat channel goes into your general channel. And there's a lot of, not bad stuff in the standard chat channel. So if you're going to be using a plugin and pressing LOC a lot, then you probably want to go ahead and move your standard chat channel into a different tab. And so I do that. In my tab group, it's not on my face right now, there's just, on any character I play regularly, there's just a tab called Standard. And that's where I check the standard chat channel. Okay, let's go ahead and close that giveaway in like 10 seconds. Very last minute. So we can see the /LOC command is working. We are getting updates on the direction we're facing and our location. And that's where we left off last time, and here's where we're going to pick up this time. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and giveaway close and giveaway draw. All right, Rabbity, if that is how you pronounce that name. Go ahead and say something if you are here. Awesome. Let me go ahead and shoot that over to you. Yep, you are blocked. You have blocked whispers from strangers. Go ahead and respond to here. Let's see. Yeah, go ahead and just message me. There you go. Awesome. Sweet. And congratulations. Okay. So, step one. This model updates approximately once an hour, it seems, and approximately on the hour. So I'm going to go ahead and set what it looks like just for convenience sake. Need to update some of these pictures, but it's good enough for right now. Awesome. So that is what it looks like. We have Regal, Regal, Balladeer, Balladeer, Winter, Winter. What we want is for it to look something like, I'm gonna find where I put this. There we go. Okay, so I made a sort of an HTML mock-up of what this could look like. And so what we want is, pre-select the things that we have, and when we pick an item up, we want the chests that have that type of piece. For instance, if I pick up the helm, I want the chests that have the helm piece to disappear from the map. When I pick up the shoulders, I want those to disappear. When I pick up the breastplate, I want those to disappear. So the dots that appear should be only be dots that you need to visit to find the pieces of the outfit. And once all the dots are off the map, then by definition you have picked up the pieces that you need. And so you should be able to just follow your arrow around to the nearest blue dot, and we want to be able to click the dot if it was the wrong piece. Actually, we might be able to remove it automatically, and if it's the right one, all of them go. Okay, that's the general idea of what I wanted to do today, is show those dots on here. That being said, this dot, I think I just borrowed it from the wiki, maybe, and I think it's going to be fine as a starting point. So I just want to come into the source code and say, hey, where did that come from? Now, this is really terrible source code, probably, but it's okay. Cool, point of interest. Where'd that come from? Great. Coordinate mark static. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and save that for a moment. We could replace this with something better, but we're gonna use this because it'll let us keep making progress, keep moving forward. So documents, Lord of the Rings Online. We're gonna go into plugins. Galahad plugins is Hytbold, and we're gonna go into source files, and we're gonna save that there. Because we want to go ahead and transform that into a TGA file. Okay, so I'm just using the GNU image manipulation program for this. Just load it up, and then we're just going to export it. So export as. And this is .tga. That's a file that Lord of the Rings Online understands. And we're going to come on into resources and quests and dress up for now. Bottom left is a fine value for what it just asked me. And now, just for the curious, this is an 14 by 14 image that we're dealing with. Okay. Cool. So what I would like to do is start writing code, but I shouldn't. I should first check source control to see, are there any unsaved changes? Because if we want to undo what we've done, it's much nicer to have a clean working directory. And we can see, first of all, the files that we just added, the chord mark static, I don't really know that I like the name of that. So let's go ahead and rename that before we commit that to source control. So in Hytbold, that was source files. So that's going to be map point of interest. I'm not even sure point of interest is right, because that has a specific meaning in the game, doesn't it? It does. Oof. Map dot blue dot. There we go. We're going to take that name and update the other file while we're at it. Where'd it go? Oh, that is. Okay. So that allows us to have that name change here. And we can just say added image for map dot. And then what's going on here? Now, I was using this on one of my characters throughout the week, and I wanted it to have the accurate number of tokens for the Rebuilding of Hytbold quest that we were talking about. So before, you can see lots of them are 5 or 10, 5, 10, 5, 10, just minimum of 5 times more expensive to rebuild, probably midway between 5 and 10. And so what I did is went ahead and updated all of those to just be 1, which is a pretty basic change. Hopefully I didn't make any other changes because I'm not going to be too worried about it. But one thing I did notice... That's fascinating. My source control did not like the accented E that was stored in this file. So I'm going to go ahead and update that with the hope that it does not break anything. So that's a separate commit. Okay, it's not. We're going to just discard that. No, really. Okay. That's a fork issue then. I think it's not understanding things. We're going to go ahead and stage the rest of these instead and just leave that alone. Cool. Updated cost to rebuild Hytbold. Awesome. Now we might do better if we just go ahead and say discard changes over here. There we go. So if I go into that file, which was queststrings.lua, we can see it still isn't rendering correctly in Visual Studio Code. So it'll probably render correctly in the game, but it's just something to keep an eye out for. Thunderhunges is asking about someone talking Little Redhead stream, probably me, about a plugin where you can't get double in the wardrobe. What I was looking into once upon a time was a plugin that would tell you if you had duplicates in the wardrobe. Really, that was based, or actually, was it really a plugin? LOTRO Companion is a program you can install on your computer that will look at information within LOTRO. And so let's go ahead and just do an import. Let's go ahead and actually open up the wardrobe so it can see the contents of that. Hilda Gadriel says wardrobe tells me if an item is already there. Yes, but multiple items can have the same visual look to them. With maybe the only difference being a different default color. So you can end up consuming 2, 3, 5 wardrobe spaces for the same cosmetic. And so I feel like that's I don't know if it's a problem with the wardrobe because, you know, different things have different names. And that's why one of the things Little Redhead and I would love is, you know, don't care about the Alliance of the Third Age Coif item, only care about the thing that looks like this. And maybe there's just one item that looks like that, but maybe there's 7 items that looks like that. And so I want the cosmetic, I don't care about the name of the thing that gives it to me. Now it's a complicated thing for the game to do, and I can appreciate why. Yes, Lord Zach, you'll need to spell that with a V. Okay, unless you don't want to. And so I just finished that import. So Arda, let's come on in and check out the... Is it an outfits? Oh man, I haven't done this in so long. There is a way to look at what's in your wardrobe, and I can't remember, but it's possible that LOTRO Companion has a way to see, do you have duplicates? Let's see. Stash? Nope. Oh, it's not character specific because it's for your account. So I don't know. I'll have to look into this. Apparently, Little Redhead has decided it's time for waffles. Okay. So if you go into the account, there's a wardrobe button there. Okay, so what I did was I took this information that LOTRO Companion had, and I said, oh, cool, maybe I can use that to find duplicates in my wardrobe. But it was very much a proof of concept. It didn't go anywhere yet, but it's on my list of things to do, like show all of the possible cosmetics in the game and then something. Oh, great. Lord Zach has put B and 4 together on your keyboard. B has entered the 4 zone. Fantastic. Okay. Let's go ahead and figure out how to get a dot to show up on this map where we want it. And then we can get into the process of making multiple dots show up. So we're going to come on in. We've got a clean working directory now. We're going to push out those unpushed changes, protect ourselves from catastrophic failure. So we were making a map control, and this map control will be in charge of putting things on the map and taking them off of the map. It knows how to do that. So let's go ahead and add some functionality here. So we're going to go ahead and say the map will keep track of dots on map. That's going to be a table of somethings. I was just getting distracted saying, does the stuff that I had for that exist? I don't see it existing. That's okay. Okay. There is chat about waffles in chat. Excellent. So we're going to keep track of our dots on map. This is going to be probably a lookup table between... Oh, like a name. So every dot is probably going to be a name. So that's going to be name to a table with x equals 47.3 or something, like minus that. Y equals, and these are going to be quotes, keys. Y equals... minus 53.2, and then what? Is visible? Yeah, sure. Is visible. Equals true. So that's maybe that will work for what we're looking for. So each entry is going to be accessible by name. So when we're passing them in, we can just call them like .1, .2, .3, or .helm winter, .helm balladeer, whatever we want. But when we're accessing it, we're going to be adding or hiding, removing these things based off of that name. Okay, that's our working theory right now. Okay. We'll go ahead and add some things. Function, map control, add dot, and name xy. And do we like xy for this? Yeah, we're using xy in other places. That's fine. We want to go ahead and function map control show dot name, and that makes it visible if it isn't. Function map control hide dot name, hides it if it makes it not visible. If it isn't, that doesn't scan well. We'll rewrite that. Hey, there's a Casper nearby. Wonder if this camera will pick him up. Okay. What happens if I pull you closer?
Tiny dancer.
Hi.
Then you need to lower your camera.
I think you got more off camera. Oops.
You do this to him.
Sure. Do you want some salmon? Yeah? Okay.
Here you go. Let's work it down on the screen.
Good enough. Okay, so we have some ideas. Make a control with the dot image, place it at X, Y. Now this is very rudimentary. We're just making that control and controlling whether it's visible or not. That's it. No, I don't have any more. You don't have any more. See? Nothing. Yeah, I know. So, what does that look like? And also, we have like a giveaway open or something. Let's go ahead and finish up that giveaway. So this is your last call on the current giveaway for 100 LOTRO points. Type !! giveaway to enter. You only need to do it once. And we're going to go ahead. Hey, Punton Finberry. We're going to go ahead and maybe update some of these comments at some point. Okay, so makes a dot show up at the specified coordinates, addressable by the name. Okay, so param, we can go ahead and say name. That's going to be a string. The name used to reference it in other functions. That's going to be x, which is a number. The x location in in-game coordinates. E.g., where are we? E.g., minus 39.9. And we're going to do the exact same thing for y. Y number, the y location and in-game coordinates. So that'd be minus 52.8. Okay. So, nice thing about doing function definitions like this is that the IntelliSense in Visual Studio Code and anything else that's using an extension that reads this, you'll get a very nice pop-up here.
Time to draw a winner in LOH.
Oh, hey. Apparently, my macros assume it's always her doing giveaways, which is fair. All right, still. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close that. And go ahead and do a draw. Thanks, everyone, for entering, because I got to get rid of these. Sid, the coach, are you still here? I hope you are. Sid, the coach is here. Awesome. Let me see if I can whisper you. I can. Okay. Neat. Almost done with Little Redhead's codes. Okay, there's some chat that I'm behind on. Let's see, anything besides waffles? Flender Hunges, yeah, comments that one of the problems when I buy stuff on festivals is I sometimes buy double ones. Absolutely. Little Redhead says, I have an awkward, no longer completely up-to-date spreadsheet for that. So annoying. Would love an in-game way to track stuff. Maybe an error message. Are you visible? You're kind of visible. Let me drag you around.
Don't forget to say what the giveaway is for in chat.
Oh, did I not say what the giveaway was for?
Out loud.
It's 100 LOTRO points. I'm going to go ahead and remove the pin post. Unpin. Okay. Yes, this giveaway is also for 100 LOTRO points. Excellent. Yeah, Pamela, yeah, an in-game system that would tell you that you have it, but let you buy it if you want to do it would be lovely. I agree. Like Little Redhead said, we would love a collections thing where you can just go, have a wardrobe button and then pick the part of the paper doll. So your head, shoulders, back, chest. Wrists, wrist, legs, and boots. Just have a little sub tab for each of those, and then within that, just like here's all the cosmetics, and you've either unlocked it or you haven't, and you unlock it by acquiring the piece or maybe by bartering for the cosmetic, and then it shows up there, and that's your new wardrobe. And so instead of your wardrobe being this, your wardrobe would be more like this, and just like, do you have it or not? And if not, here's where to get it. I think that'd be really neat. Okay. Yes, wardrobe is a VIP thing, that is true. But, in whichever incarnation of Thunder Hunges, like, whether it was this or whether it was on the collections panel, it could be blocked to VIP. That'd be fine with me. Okay. We'll let that giveaway go. If you haven't already done so, ! Giveaway. And let's keep on going. So what we want is, a... we need the actual control. Equals, and then that's going to be a turbine.ui.control. Oh, we don't actually even need an isVisible then. We'll probably keep the XY for right now. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and be able to make something. So we need a local dot equals a turbine turbine.ui.control.
He's back on screen.
Excellent. Is that a salmon bowl?
No.
You're a lucky little cat. We're going to make a control, and we want to go ahead and make sure that the dot set parent equals or pass self to that. We want to go ahead and set the size. We know that's 14 by 14, but we could not hard code that if we chose to. We need that image, and that image is maybe going to be more a part of the map than anything. So I might want to move that away from resources and into libraries. I'm going to actually change the naming format for a minute. Okay, so what we want to do is go ahead and have a reference to that. Now, a convenient reason to be using in-game images, you know, that's a good point. We're going to go ahead and make a note to switch to an in-game image if possible. Switch blue dot to an in-game image if possible. That'd be nice, because what we'd like to do is reduce the number of kind of dependencies that come with this map control, because I'd like to have this map control just be a little standalone library. And the fewer extra files you need to bring in and file paths you need to change, the better. Lord Zach, you've definitely spelled exclamation point giveaway correctly. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hope that we can find another image for this, but I'm not going to bother to source it here on stream. Okay. So I do need to go ahead and have it. So self.dot image equals, and then we need something that makes sense for this. Now for that, we can see the dressuptor. It's going to look like this. And then within that, we have the name of our file. These do require us to say .tga, because I think you can do one other extension like JPEG or something. But we're going to keep using our TGAs. So we have a dot image. So we can go ahead and say set the background dot set background to the self dot image. And then the only thing we need is to change the location. I don't actually care about changing the location right now. I just want to see it on the map itself. So the thing that's making this map control is probably in QuestWin. Map control. Excellent. So let's go ahead and populate the clothing chests. So dress up area map control. We're going to go ahead and add dot. Excellent. And again, we get this very friendly pop-up description because we went ahead and took the time to type that out. Oh, cat's gone. All right, can I tilt this back up without breaking it? Camera says yes. So we get this very nice pop-up of what's going on here. So we're going to go ahead and say, oh, I don't know. Let's come on back here a sec. So Helm Winter. Oh, we actually don't know what's in what. So Helm 1. And do we know where that is? Yes, we can come into the code and see, how did I encode that here? Oh, in pixels. That was a poor idea. Let's go to the wiki instead. Okay. Walk through. Those pictures sure look familiar. Great. So we have some locations of chests. Now, these locations are not maybe as detailed as I would like them to be. So let's go ahead and download, using the LOTRO Plugin Compendium, the precise coordinates plugin by Thurlor. Thank you very much. And then we're going to come on in and make sure that's loaded. Hit that green circle if you haven't, in order to get a refreshed list. And we're going to make sure precise coordinates is loaded. And what does that do? Well, precise coordinates, if it is loaded, whenever you type /LOC, will go ahead and also spit out precise coordinates. Now, I gotta say, I'm kind of wanting to come on into precise coordinates and make a change. So now's a perfect time. Documents, Lord of the Rings Online, plugins, Thurlor, precise coordinates. Now we see a plugin compendium, and .lua. Cool, let's just go into .lua. And what we're really looking for is a rounding function. Round. Awesome. Where is this called? Well, I'm not sure. Precise coordinates. Okay, coordinates is here. Awesome. Local coordinates equals parse location. Great. Where's that? So return coordinates having two number x and y. No, the only thing we're looking at is coords. Okay, string format. There we go. %.2. Let's just make that like %.4 for you know, curiosity's sake. Oh, excellent. In chat, Egg Arthur has mentioned JPEG or TGA. If you want transparency, Egg Arthur thinks it has to be TGA. I think so also. I think that's why I keep defaulting to it. And so JPEGs don't really do transparencies, I don't think. Lord Zach says TGAs are fun. I remember doing TGA stuff back when I played Darkstone 1. I don't actually know much about the format itself. I just know that it works. Okay. Where am I going? Oh yeah, plugin manager. We're going to go ahead and... Nope. LOTRO store is lovely, but it's not what I was trying to go. Plugin manager, unload, and then we're going to load precise coordinates, and then we can see whenever we use it, we are getting ridiculously precise coordinates. But if I take a step towards the fire pit, we can see measurable differences in both the south and west component. If I move as much east as I can, we can see I changed east to west, but not south. Oh, but I am drifting slightly in the direction of north because my south is decreasing just a bit. So I'm just a little bit off. So this is fine. This is overkill, but might as well. So what I would like to do real fast is go ahead and close that. Go ahead over to the coordinate of the first one. Oh, I don't have waypoint on here. That's very sad. Let's fix that. Let's go ahead and install waypoint. Refresh and load. Then we can type /away target space the coordinates that we want to go to, and we get this handy dandy arrow. So we're going to go ahead and right on over to the first crate. Now, I probably won't do this for all of the crates, but this is an example of what I would do for each of them off stream. As we can see, the precise coordinates are kind of helpful because it thinks we've arrived. Yeah, we have arrived, but we're not on top of it. What I would like to do is to get the precise coordinate of this and then say, hey, does that work? So /way space target space the thing I just copy pasted from there. We can see it doesn't seem to mind that I went ahead and gave it way too much overkill. And then what? Okay, it gets a little closer. There might be some rounding in waypoint. But the important thing is we can be as precise as we want to be. Okay, so that's the coordinates that we want. So we're going to go ahead and bring that in. And this is taking x and y. So that is south, so it's really minus 39.6190. And that is really west, and so west is minus 52.8450. Okay. Lord Zach, are you saying that this is a good coordinate? Okay, so that is a location for one of the dots. So what we want to do is go ahead and unload and reload Hytbold Assistant now. And we can see two things. One, I'm not convinced that that dot is making use of transparencies. Let's go fix that. So we want to set the blend mode to something. I feel like turbine.ui .blend mode dot. Alpha blend is 4. I was thinking 2 for some reason, but that's why we have enumerations. Cool. That lets the alpha blend in with the background, just like we would want to. Oh, I said I was sad because I didn't have waypoint. That's true. It was an easy fix, but it's nice to get it fixed. Okay, so what we want to do is now actually position it. And we're going to position it this similar to the way we move the map point. Thanks, Fire, for fixing a thing. So now we actually have a function saying move a thing, and we want to basically do the same, except we don't care about the heading. So if we have an X and Y, or do we? That's pixels, okay. Okay, so the handle standard chat message, which is correctly named, if confusing to actually find the functionality, gets coordinates with a parse chat location, and if we get them, then go ahead and do something. So what we're going to do is oh, no, we don't need to parse anything. So instead, we're going to go ahead and we have the coordinates that we need. But what does this take? It's a table with latitude and longitude numerical values. Well, that would be a better way to name this, wouldn't it? So chords dot latitude, chords dot longitude. Hey, let's go ahead and rename this latitude and longitude. And save X and Y for pixels. That'll Now, I have a problem in that no matter how much I want, I have trouble remembering which one is east-west and which one is north-south. But that's okay, because the internet has an answer. The east-west location in the game, latitude. Off the side, I've got a Google search helping me out. North-south, excellent. They convert. North-south, positive. South, negative. And we want to do the same thing. East is positive, and we can just spell it out here. And west is negative. Perfect. I don't know why. For some reason, latitude and longitude do not stick in my head, and I would like them to. And so far, I haven't gotten the right mnemonic or the right, I don't know, key to unlock that particular thing. It's a minor thing in my day-to-day life, but that's okay. Okay, so what we have is we need a table. So local coordinates equals, that's just going to be a table with latitude equals latitude, and longitude equals longitude. Now, we might find ourselves in the very near future changing this parameter to just accept that same coordinates table, so we pass it one level up the chain. I'm not worried about it yet. Phineas says latitude, longitude is the same order as XY. All right, that's fair. Wait, but X is, in my head, left to right, which is east-west, and Y is up-down on a two-dimensional graphics coordinate grid. So wouldn't it be longitude is east-west, and latitude is... Zach says, I bet height is Z. Yeah, when you throw third dimensions in there, it messes with things. Altitude. I am not dealing with altitude. Though the /LOC command does include elevation. So that's the command when I'm sitting here. Oops. That's the command when I'm sitting here, and when I jump, that's the command And I feel like the Z coordinate got bigger. Yeah, so I jumped about 1.15 whatevers. Or if you're up on top of the hill. So slash LOC knows how far above the ground you are, but unless you had a topographical coordinate plane of the ground, you wouldn't really be able to do anything with that. I don't think it tells you where the ground is, just what your height is. Phineas, you're right. Even I get confused. It's YX. Yeah, so that's this is why you have this problem. Lord Zach says in Eco they use Y for altitude. And Phineas says brains are weird. They sure are. Little Redhead says, hey, which instance were we doing for the Bugin hunt? I want to go in and double check they actually turned it off. Well, that's super easy to do. That was the Sword Hall of Dol Guldur. That is why I have that problem. Yeah, as we can see, Theodore is no longer next to the dead body, cowering in fear. But for anyone who does the Bugin event next time it comes around, Sword Halls is a super easy way to know whether the Bugin is there or not, to take them out, and to leave before ever fighting anything else. It goes something like this. Imagine there's a Bugin in here. Hey, hello Nazgul, I'll be out of your hair in a minute. When you cross about this line, you either get the yeah or you don't. You defeat it and you are out. This door closes after the Nazgul does his talky bit, but by that point you are already out of it. You just start a 5-minute timer on your phone, on your computer somewhere, and because it's a scalable instance, as all the treasure Bugins are, you can either just relaunch it again the next time on a different level, a higher level, just bump up and down one, or you disband and reform your fellowship. Either one will reset it so you don't get that same instance. Okay, so we have a add dot, we have latitude and longitude. We're going to make a coordinates out of that. We're going to pass that in. That gets us our pixels. And then we're going to go ahead and that's the center point of it. We just want to place the left and the top 7 off of that. So we're going to go ahead and say dot set position to be pixels dot x minus 7 pixels dot y minus 7. Now, this is already sounding terrible. Why on earth do we have 7s and 14s in here? So we'll want to refactor that, but not yet. It's fine. Cool. So let's give it a try. Let's go ahead and reload this plugin. Awesome. We see a dot, and we can see it should be on the left side of this little pyramid here. And it is on the left side of the pyramid here. So it's in the right location. Awesome. Hey, one of our kinnies just got a summon to Hytbold. Awesome. So at that point, we would go ahead and fill in the rest of these. Probably. Let's go ahead and see what that would look like. What we really want is something a little bit more structured so that we can easily turn all the helms on, all the helms off. Maybe this is fine. I don't know, was that too many? It seemed like 18. I don't know, we'll see. So we're going to be, what we really want, is a table structure that we can loop through instead of doing these all by hand. But that's okay. We'll start with this. Pamela, maybe you can use that as a mnemonic, like, why the longitude face or something. Excellent. Maybe that'll stick in my head. I like it. Wait, which one's which? Longitude. That's east-west. Why? Nope. No, the problem is x is longitude and y is latitude. And, you know, the real problem is in game they do north-south first and east-west second, and that mildly offends my sense of X is horizontal and Y is vertical, which isn't even a universal thing. That's okay. Okay, so what we want to do is do a really quick pulling over of the information from the wiki on the other locations. And we're not going to be very precise here. And so we're just going to go ahead and replace that with minus something and minus something. Cool. So, in fact, here, let me go ahead and copy these into a Sublime Text pad. We're just going to go ahead and get rid of all the text that we don't care about. Nope. Cool, and that's our 18 that we want to do. We don't need the first one, and so for the rest of these, we want that to be minus, so we can get rid of the S. We want that to be minus, so we can get rid of the W, and then we'll go ahead and replace, do the rest of the line as well, just so we have it. Okay, so that's going to be add dot thing. We need to fix that. But the rest of these are fine coordinates, right? So we're going to go ahead and bring that in. And then we just need the actual thing that we're doing here. Okay, this was in order of the outfit. So we have shoulder one, we have chest one, we have gloves one, leggings one, and boots one. Then we just need that, but two. And then we need that, but three. Okay, so at least we have that. Let's go ahead and unload and reload and see if we like what that looks like. Now, first of all, Phineas says Minecraft does XZY. Fantastic. I wouldn't blame that on Microsoft. I bet Mojang did it first. Like Arthur, you're several helms deep. Excellent. Okay, so what do we have? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Awesome. So, we have dots on the map. Great. What we don't have is a good way to control them yet, but that's okay. Even right now, oh, you know what I don't like? Those dots are covered up by your character. I kind of feel like they should be on top of the character, because you're going to be able to click on those things. The real question is, why are they not on top? Oh, because that's a window. Oh. I wonder if that's an easy fix. Window. Nope. Okay. The next question is, can I set the Z order? Would that help? Set Z order 1. Negativo. Okay. I'm going to put that as a to-do item. Can we make the player arrow go under the dots? Question mark. That would be nice. Text says eco does XYZ, but Y is altitude. What's Z then? Yeah, obviously there's a reason to do it. I mean, navigating through three-dimensional coordinates itself just sounds complicated, and I'm glad I don't actually have to work with it. But I mean, the important thing is convention, right? Like doing the same thing over and over and over, and you can see why if this one game back 20 years ago did X, Z, Y, then everyone working on that would just kind of carry it over, and now you have a new ecosystem and new reasons for doing it, and at the end of the day, if all the games are doing it quote unquote wrong, it doesn't really matter. It's like words, right? You just do. Okay, XZ is latitude and longitude. Not sure which is which. Yeah, fantastic. All right, so we have a to-do item about that. Now I can forget about it. It doesn't matter anymore. Now we didn't actually save this dot off. We haven't needed to so far, but we do want to. So let's shrink some functions. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. All right, we have that constructor. So the dots on map. Let's go ahead and view. Can we split? I would like to split. There we go. Split down. Okay, so we want to save this thing off. So self.dots on map. We're going to index that with the name of this thing. Equals, and that's going to be a table that has. You know what? Are we saving off the X? Oh, sure. Let's save off the X. Equals pixels.x. We're saving off the Y, which is pixels.y. And right after I finish this, we're going to go ahead and finish drawing that LOTRO point thing that I totally didn't forget about. So this is a reminder, hey, if you're not already in the LOTRO point giveaway, go ahead and type !giveaway to enter. All right, so dots on map, we have the name, we have X, we have Y, and we need the actual control. Equals dot. Awesome. That'll let us, whenever we're doing the show dot, hide dot, we'll be able to do something about that. Okay. Well, we're able to make a dot. We're able to position it where we want to on the map. And if we go ahead and pull up, maybe not that one. If we go ahead and pull up this one, we can see that our dots are mapping very nicely. And we're able to do it without explicitly referencing pixels. In fact, we can see this one's in a different location than that. I wonder which one is right. Well, we'll be testing this thoroughly, I'm sure. All of these are slightly different. And since these are based off of not very precise coordinates inside of a city map, I'm guessing these are all going to shift a little bit as we get that precise coordinate fix on them. That being said, we know the one behind the pyramid is where it's supposed to be. So yeah, the one on the right would have also been based off of those imprecise coordinates as well. So, but then manually positioning them by pixels apparently. Okay, yeah. I'm satisfied that the dots are where they should be. Also, this map looks less stretched than that one. Neat. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a step back and look at what has changed. We've gone ahead and map to show remaining boxes. We are showing the boxes. Let's go ahead and commit our changes here, so that we have a snapshot of what we did. Added dots for each equipment chest location. We'll go ahead and take those to-do file changes as well. So this is this. The map control. We'll go ahead and do the image and the dots on map. We haven't actually made the visibility functions yet, so we don't need to commit those. Awesome. Welcome, Melvoid, to chat. Okay, so we now have the ability to put all these on the map. The next thing we need to do is be able to remove a dot. What we'd like to do is if we click on a dot, it removes itself from the map because there's two things that we can do. We can either pick something up out of the equipment and it is correct, and we can tell that it's correct based off of the effect that we get on our self, or it's wrong, in which case we know that it's wrong, but we don't know where we are, or at least not with certainty. The /LOC tells you where you are right now, but every second after you use it, that gets increasingly less reliable. Because if I say /LOC there, then by the time this fades out after 5 seconds, I'm all the way over here. Not that far, because I'm on foot.
Alright, I think you should draw the thing, not me. It's time to draw, alright?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, 99% of the time I'm using this to manage giveaways on Little Red Head's channel, so oops. Okay. Let's go ahead and draw that. So we're going to go ahead and close that giveaway. I'm going to go ahead and do a drawing. Lady Peaches, if you're in chat, go ahead and say something. Bacon in chat, we're going to start one up here, another one here in a minute, so stick around. And that's the last Little Red Head code. Yay! Okay, so Lady Peaches, go ahead and say something in chat if you're still here. Otherwise, in a minute or two, we'll go on and draw someone else. We'll give you a minute just in case you're across the room or otherwise distracted. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to click on one of these blue dots and have it disappear. Melvoid, hang on just a moment. The new giveaway has not opened yet. So what we want to do is we want to add a click handler for each one of these dots. I'm kind of tying together. I don't know if I'm unconvinced all these dots are going to be. I don't mind adding them and showing them and hiding them in here, but the click handler is very strange. All right, well, Lady Peaches, you have a few seconds more. If you're not back by then, we will move on, and you'll have good luck on the next one. So I'm thinking this add dot actually needs to return the dot. Hello, Lady Peaches. Awesome. You have won the giveaway of 100 LOTRO points. Congratulations. No worries. You're not required to, be prompt, but it does help the process. I've gone ahead and sent you a whisper in Twitch with your LOTRO point code. Congratulations. Cool. I'm going to strike that one off, and we still have 3 more of those things to do. Awesome. Well, that's funny.
Touch it.
No, it's okay. Okay. What a surprise. It's another 100 LOTRO points. Gotta get rid of them somehow. Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and pin that. Yes, I am. Yes, I am, little one. Yeah. There you go.
You're a good boy.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to say hi to everyone? I think she does not have any more salmon.
That's true.
Neither do I. Okay, bye-bye.
Oh.
The salmon was not forthcoming.
Hey, maybe he'll get your food.
Okay. Hey, you want to come up here? There might be salmon. There's not. There could be a treat, though. Yeah. Hey, up here. Yeah, okay. Go. You're terrible at this. Okay. Yes, that could be his, we're out of salmon meow. That's hard to tell. Or the I want salmon. I'm not sure he knows that we're out of salmon. Okay. So we want to return this, and we want to go ahead and document that with the return. This is going to be a turbine.ui.control.
Did you try to put the tree in this hole?
I tried, but none of them seemed interested in jumping up there. And this is going to be the created control. Okay, what's going on here? Pretty sure that's the right way to say it, return. Yeah, okay. Little Redhead says, we're suckers for these cats. I gave them a little chicken earlier. Before let Kato lick his plate, so I gave my empty bowl to Casper. That's fair. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take the return value of this add dot and do something with it. This is where we need to think about a function to help us out here. So what we want is to maybe extract out this information into its own little table. There's going to be some more textual transformation. I'm just going to grab Sublime Text here so we can do it there. And what we want is a table. Each one of these things is going to, whoops, have that and this equals, and then what are these things called? Latitude. Latitude equals, and then also longitude equals. Okay, it would look something like that. Have to actually close that table up. So if we save that off somewhere in the quest window, so let's say dress up area dot chest locations equals, it would look something like that. Now I'm getting a lot of squiggly here, so I think I've messed something up. I did not end each one of those with a semicolon. That is a no-no, or comma, some sort of a thing. Okay, as a reminder, there is a giveaway for 100 LOTRO points open right now. Type ! Giveaway, or make noises like a cat, apparently. What you doing?
They were playing.
Are you fighting? Okay. Okay, so we've gone ahead and set these up. Now, if it were me, and it is, I would probably place the pieces together rather than the outfits. So, because they're not by outfits, the wiki is wrong on that count. Testing suggests that whatever's in the crates seems pretty random. So instead, we're just going to go ahead and put them now you can manually reorder them like that, or you can just go ahead and sort, and that's fine as well. Just like that. Now the only thing I might do is, instead of leaving it like that, whoops. I might go ahead and put them in body order. So helm on top, then the shoulders after that. That's a completely arbitrary way to do it. But I feel pretty good about it. Chest, and then leggings, and then boots. So I might do that instead. Okay. So now we have chest locations. And we can go ahead and iterate through this. Now, for the life of me, I can never remember how to iterate through things, but that's okay. Where'd that go? We can go ahead and say ij in pairs of dress up area dot chest locations. I'm actually going to rename that for ambiguity purposes. It's going to be crate locations, because these are called crates, not chests. So I don't actually remember how this works. It's no worry. Let's go ahead and just dump this out. Turbine.shell.writelines. Our I is going to be, we'll go ahead and dump that. And then J is going to be the dump of J, assuming we have the dump function in this plugin. Awesome. So let's see what we got. As we were iterating through this, we see that I is the key, and J is the value. Awesome. So let's go ahead and rename that. Key value. In pairs. Radio. What you up to? Yeah? We don't actually have any catnip in the house, you know. Okay. You do you. Some kitty is being super cute over here, says Little Redhead. Okay. So we know that the pairs command is going to go ahead and just iterate through this in a random order. We don't know when we're going to hit them, but that's okay. We don't actually care. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing, except here we're going to go ahead and say add dot equals, and we're going to use that key. And then we're going to use the value dot latitude and value dot longitude. Okay, that lets us go ahead and not have to hand write each one of them. Let's unload, reload, and see if, okay, everything is still there. Awesome. But now we are returning something from add dot, the created control. So we can go ahead and save that off. Dress up area. Oh wait, actually, value dot, well, control equals add dot. So now we can save that value off in the value, and now value is going to have a control in it as well. Okay. But this is where we can go ahead and do our custom click handler. So value control dot click equals an anonymous function taking as sender and args, but we don't actually care about those senders and args, so we're probably not going to use them. And here, let's just go ahead and test it. Turbine dot shell dot writeline, and we're going to go ahead and send in the key, and that's it. So when I click on that, well, I gotta scroll all the way down here. If I click, do we get anything? No, but does this control accept mouse stuff? Dot set mouse visible, true. Anything else? Mouse? No. Let's make sure it's visible to the mouse. Okay, that is not doing what I was hoping it would do. Oh, sure. Control. All right. Well, that was a useful thing. What's going on here? So let's go ahead and make sure that this code would ever work by trying to make it happen inside the map control here. So dot click. Oh. Mouse click. Well, that's going to be a big difference. Mouse click. Hey! Make sure you call the right function. I feel like buttons have click instead of mouse click, which is a very common thing for a button to have in other UI frameworks. But the fact that they separated out and said no, in controls it's just mouse click, whenever you're clicking on the control itself, and buttons having the idea of being clicked as a separate thing of that, well, you just gotta remember that. Cool. Okay, gloves 3, boots 3, shoulder 2, chest 2, awesome. Now, we could actually go one step further. We could place labels on the map saying what you should expect to find in these, but I'm hoping that won't actually be necessary. That you'll just go to the next box in the loop around town that is still on the map. What's going on? Deed bestowed. Oh. Of course. I got the Sword Hall deeds when I entered. Nice. Okay. So we have the ability to click on these things. Awesome. What we really want to do is call that function, right? That hides them. So we want to call dressUpArea.mapControl hide dot, and we're just passing in the key. That's really it. Now, we actually need a function to do that, so turbine.shell.writeLine ourselves into confirming we're calling the right thing. Don't quote the name of a variable. You won't like the results. Okay, so clicking on that, Helm 1, clicking on that, gloves 3, awesome. So what we have here are a couple functions that aren't, but we want them to be. So let's start off by describing them in the syntax for documentation. So we're going to go ahead and say sets dot to visible if it wasn't. Remember name. That's a string, and that's the name of the dot to alter. Cool. And we're actually going to hoist that for this other one. All right, seeing people in chat going for that giveaway. Hello, Thalas in chat. Yes, do go ahead and put exclamation point giveaway for 100 LOTRO points. And of course, feel free to stick around for making plugins for LOTRO also. That's optional, but always nice to have you here. We're going to go ahead and say sets.to not visible if it was visible. Okay, we're going to start making that a little bit more explicit. If it was not visible. Okay, then enable the delta alter. Great. Now, we're not actually ever going to use the show dot function, but it doesn't hurt. So, local dot equals, and then we're going to go ahead and assume that it might not be there. So self dots on map. Oops. Dots on map. We're going to go ahead and index it via the name. And if dot, then dot set visible to true. We don't actually need to check if it was already true. It doesn't matter to our purposes. And we're going to do the same thing for hide dot. In fact, why are we even making two functions? Why are we not just saying a single set dot visibility? Set dot visibility, or set dot visible. That's the name and the what's the parameter here? How about just is visible? So we're going to change that, not even bother with a second function. That way we don't have a function hanging around that would never to sets the visibility of the specified dot. All right, we just need another parameter now, and we'll have consolidated that together. So that is a Boolean, and the new visible state of the dot. Cool. So we wanted to go ahead and set dot visible to false. Okay. Ideally, what we just done there is hook this up so that anytime we click a blue dot, we get a runtime exception. Fantastic. That's line 126. Let's go ahead and check out what line 126 does. Attempt to call method set visible a null value. Well, it's entirely possible I spelled that wrong. Let's go over to the API documentation a second. To controls and their methods. Visible. All right, so there is a set visible. Oh, of course. I know what I did. When we save it off, the dots on map, what we really want is the control that we saved off. It works. We can manually click dots to rule them out now. That's fantastic. We're really close to being able to run through this quest. So what we want to do is, for the final part, is whenever we get an effect, if the effect is good, we'll clear the dots and maybe put something on screen saying, hey, it's good. And if it's not good, we want to put something on screen that says keep searching, so that and hey, click the dot to remove it. Perk in chat says, what are you doing? Well, this is, of course, Lord of the Rings Online, and the focus of Plugin Along is the development and usage of plugins. So what I'm working on right now is the Hytbold quests, the Hytbold plugin, Hytbold Assistant, which looks like this. You may have seen it before. It helps keep track of what you've done to rebuild Hytbold, how many tokens it will take, and so on. Oh, that calculator there. Gotta fix that. Fix calculator of remaining days. So the Hytbold Assistant plugin is there to help you with the rebuilding of Hytbold, which is content that you can do at level 80, starting level 84 in East Rohan. Perks asks, are you a dev? I am not a dev. I am an avid fan of both Lord of the Rings and of making plugins and of telling other people about them and showing them how they can make their own plugins. If you have any questions that only a dev can answer, there's information in chat there about how to contact them. But we here who stream at LOTRO Stream mostly are just fans of the game, but we have a lot of information about the game. So if you have any questions that you want to throw in chat there, feel free. We don't have any inside information, but we do have lots of available information. Speaking of, well, not, but I'm going to grab some water. Also, we're running out of time to get rid of all these LOTRO points, so I'm going to go ahead and close this one off and do one last one. How many more do we have to give away? You know what? We're close enough to the normal end time of the stream that I'm just going to say whoever's in this last one, we're going to draw 3 names from there, and they're going to get the last 3 100 LOTRO points available. I feel like that will approximately simulate doing 3 separate draws. So be sure, if you haven't already, to do exclamation point giveaway if you want to have those 100 LOTRO points, which are, for anyone who is watching who doesn't know, they are an in-game currency that you can earn by doing in-game things. Completing deeds is the most common one. For instance, if I complete Glory in the Sword Hall of Dol Guldur, I get 10 LOTRO points. And those can be spent in the game to unlock various quality of life improvements. For instance, how much bag space you have, which is a very nice thing to be able to increase. Melvoid in chat says, I first played LOTRO back in 2010. Awesome. And yesterday was the first time I installed and used plugins. I was away from the game for a good few years. Yeah, well, awesome. Anyone who asks, who's looking for them, you can get plugins at lotrointerface.com. And there's a helper program called LOTRO Plugin Compendium that can help you install them. Perk says, you made item treasury? I did not. I am B4 over at the LOTRO interface. LOTRO interface. This B414213562, that's me. Sometimes I'll go by Cube as well. I have multiple names, just like so many things in Lord of the Rings. And so, item treasury, we can see that was Galahad. Galahad did so many awesome plugins, or at least it feels that way. If we come on in here and see list Galahad's interfaces, yeah, we've got the, excuse me, the Festival Buddy, the Rich, the Pets, and as it turns out, the Hytbold assistant that we're editing right now. Although, why do I not see you in there? Oh, page 2. Excellent. Hytbold assistant's in there. So many things. So Galahad was a prolific contributor for both plugins and general community knowledge. Let's see. Hilda Galadriel says, I'm buying housing writs to get a premium hobbit hole in Lindleby. Awesome. Yeah, I know a lot of people are very excited over the River Hobbit housing. Anyone who's curious, there's a stream on Video On Demand here on Twitch or over on the LOTRO Stream YouTube channel where Scenario goes through the Lindleby housing. And so you can get a sneak peek there. Melway says, the plugin thing is very easy to use, I found. Yeah, I actually have it right here. The LOTRO Plugin Compendium, you search for a plugin, let's say Reminders, and you check the ones that you want to install, and you click Add. That's it. Super easy. And it's done. Thunder100 says, yes, I started using plugins since 3 years ago. I had never hadn't used them until then. Yeah, you can totally play Lord of the Rings Online without any plugins. They're just very nice to have for those of us who like to alter how we interact with the game in some way. RD says, I am so excited for Lindleby houses. I can't wait to decorate a new house. I was only kind of half listening to Scenario's stream, so I haven't really been spoiled on the visuals of the neighborhood yet. But some of the things I have seen look very cool. Tumba Award says, can you make a plugin to track everyone's DPS in a group or raid? I think the fundamental answer is probably not. The question of what can a plugin do is often, when it comes to combat, is what can a plugin see in your combat log? So anything that comes in through the combat enemy, combat event, or combat player chat channels will be available to plugins. Anything that comes through any chat channel is available to plugins, but those are the specific ones that are of interest. So if you do not see in those channels what damage people are doing to their opponents or what damage they're receiving from them, then a plugin won't have access to that either. Currently, plugins don't have any separate access to combat statistics that they could use. And so since that information, I don't think, shows up in the combat, just what damage you do, what damage you receive, what healing you do, what healing you receive, those things show up. As long as you're a participant in it, you should see those in the combat chat. But a plugin wouldn't be able to track other people's contributions to combat because they don't show up in the combat chat tab, I think. That being said, there are DPS trackers, plugins that exist for Lord of the Rings Online, but I think they only track your own participation, and then you can share it with other people. Flinner100 says, what is the pet plugin? Pet plugin is a way to unfortunately, I don't actually know how to use the thing. There we go. I double clicked on it. So the pet plugin is another plugin by Galahad that allows you to say, I want these specific pets to be available in a little icon that just lets me interact with the pets that I want them to have. So which ones do I have? All right. Search. I have the Corgi. I do not have the Corgi. Oh, pets might not have the Corgi. Pets might not have been updated in a little while. Slug. Is the slug in here? All right, what things do you think I have? All right, spotted shrew. Let's go ahead and add that. What other things do you know of that you think I have? And the noble eagle kite. Cool. So we'll go ahead and close that. And so now I've assigned some pets to the pet plugin, and click and expand to just have access to those pets that I'm interested in having. And I can click it, and I've gone ahead and summoned out my spotted shrew. And I click it again, we can see it's highlighted, so I click it, dismiss it, or I can click to summon out my Gondorian kite. So that's the pets plugin. It's really elegant. I don't think it's necessarily been updated with all of the recent pets. Could throw that on my to-do list, but for any of the older pets, older than whatever update it was last updated for, there might be patches out there as well. So let's take a look. We can see pets. We can see pets was last patched for update 36. Awesome. So that would bring it up to date with more recent pets. So that's what the pets plugin is, Flinder Hunches. It's just a way to kind of have pets at hand that you want to summon out without cluttering up your toolbar. Pamela, those homes look lovely. The Lynn will be a river hobbit housing. And I like what they've done with the hooks. Hope you find the perfect neighborhood to suit you. Hello, Gladriel. Hello, Gladriel has got to get that deluxe stately home with the indoor pool. Oh, I did hear about that. That sounds really cool. Did we ever hear whether you can fish in that?
We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. I think there'll be a riot if you can't, but... Grounded Eagle says, have you noticed performance issues with combat analysis in large raids? I'm afraid I can't say. And then you later say, you may not have made combat analysis. I did not make combat analysis. I know it exists. But I will say, in general, in software, dealing with strings, text, is harder than dealing with numbers. And trying to figure out if a piece of text has the information you want, pattern matching, is harder still. And having to run pattern matches on every line of combat output is asking a lot of a plugin. And so I would guess that on a significantly powerful enough computer, especially if you're dealing with a reasonably new desktop and not like an old laptop, I would guess you wouldn't notice it too much. Like, yes, you're seeing possibly dozens of combat logs come in per second, but it's probably fine. But if you're on an older machine, or if you're in a combat with hundreds of messages coming in per second, yeah, it's their plugin is going to take measurable amount of time. And because the engine on which this is running is 15 or 20 years old, if your plugin takes a lot of time to do something, that makes the game have to wait for your plugin to finish doing the thing. So I think you'll just have to test it for yourself in your raid or instance configuration on your computer and get a sense of, does this affect it? So try to find an instance that doesn't matter so much. Like, don't do it on raid night, but get some people together, go into an instance, and just see, does this feel like it's affecting it? Remember that you have the Control F, I think? Yeah, the Control F keyboard shortcut to tell you how many frames per second you're seeing at the moment. There's a frame rate movable item on the screen. So if it doesn't show up here, it'll be somewhere on your screen. And so I guess I would say get a sense of what your frame rate is when you're in an instance without combat analysis, and then come back in and say, okay, is this actually much different? Now, your frame rate's going to naturally go up and down just based off the complexity of what's happening. I'm sitting still in Harwick right now, so that's not asking very much of it. It's not like I'm spinning around in a circle. But you notice during that spin, it actually jumped up to 120 frames per second instead of down. Now, that might be because how far I could see suddenly went down. Most of my range of vision is being blocked by a big building. That's going to reduce the draw distance. It's going to reduce a lot of calculations. So even though I'm actively spinning, I'm spinning into an area that requires less computation. It makes it very difficult to get an accurate sense of things. So the best thing is to just run through an instance that you care about without a plugin and see what the frame rate is during various things. Are you in combat? Are you running down a hallway? Is the room you're in massive? All of these things can contribute to frame rate going up or down. And then try combat analysis as well. Now you can do this on something like Grand Stair, right? Like you're not gonna fail, and it doesn't matter if you do. Just do a run through with and without it, and then that'll give you a sense of on your computer with the people that you're running with. Are you running with 5 rune keepers? Are you running with a bunch of minstrels? Are you running with a bunch of champions? Does it even matter? In your configuration, does it lag for you? And that's really the best I can do is, are there going to be performance implications? Maybe, capital M, maybe, right? It really just depends. And I'm sorry I don't have a better answer than that. Possibly. Little Redhead was asking about housing. Oh, Melvoid says Altaholic is pretty useful. Absolutely. When I do not have this set up for streaming, I absolutely have Altaholic. Actually, I have Alt Inventory. But I have a way to check where is that thing that I left, which of my characters has it, kind of thing. All right. Hildegard says what server they're on. Hildegard, says, love the pet plugin and the mount one too. Absolutely. I'm so glad people have made some really neat ways to interact with these systems like pets. Like, on the one hand, it's cool that there's a built-in way to see all the pets that you have and all the pets that you could have and that sort of thing. On the other hand, rarely am I interested in activating all of my pets. All right, Little Turtle, you can come out. But rarely am I interested in activating all my pets. Usually, they're just a subset of ones that I'm interested in. And so it's nice that there's an alternate way to do that without just filling up your toolbars with pets. Perks says, how come World of Warcraft plugin add-ons can see other players' DPS, but LOTRO plugins can't? Every game, or every program really, but let's talk about games. Every game gets to decide kind of what it allows plugins to do. And this is generally going to be called an API, or an application programming interface. And so for LOTRO, you can see the API here. This is how to do all the things you want to do, or all the things you can do between your plugin and the game. And so there are things that World of Warcraft allowed plugins to do that Lord of the Rings Online did not. For instance, back in the day, this is 15-year-old knowledge, so it may be out of date, but in World of Warcraft, add-ons could interact with the auction house. They could see what things were available on the current page. They could advance to the next page, which would allow a plugin to just kind of rip through an auction house and get the current bid and buyout price for everything in there and compile giant tables of all this information. That's something you cannot do in Lord of the Rings Online. For whether you like it or not, the developers at the time who were deciding what you could do did not think that was a thing that you should be able to do with a plugin in Lord of the Rings Online. So you can't do that. You can see combat that involves you, but you can't see combat that involves other people, not because of a specific plugin limitation, but because that's how the combat chat channels work. And because plugins don't have another way to see combat, they're only looking at the stuff coming in through chat. The not showing you everyone's DPS or everyone's damage given and received, everyone's heal given and received, was probably 20 years ago or 15 years ago when it came out. That was probably a performance issue, right? There were still people playing this game on dial-up or very slow connections. And so if you had all of that information coming to you, instead of just here's what their current health is, or morale, here's what their current power is, here's what their current rage is, it's a tremendously larger amount of information. So I would guess, I don't have any insider information, but I would guess the choice was made to not pass all that extra combat information back and forth between every game client for performance reasons. And as a knock-on, a side effect, that means plugins, because they're looking at the chat, can't see what's happening with other players. They can just see the aggregate. How much morale do they have now? All right, more conversation about Gladden. Gladden being a friendly place with a weekly chicken run, which is very compelling. Now, you say a crispy chicken run. Is that a chicken run that goes to Mount Doom? Hill to Galadriel? Now, Melvoid, I'm not here to rag on any other games. There are lovely people in all sorts of different game communities, but I've been very pleased with the people I get to interact with here on the Treebeard server. So, anyway, Perks. There's not currently an active Lua API developer at SSG. Or I would say the people who might do those things are currently occupied doing other things. So there's not a lot of movement on the API side in Lord of the Rings Online. So the state of things as they are now is how it has been for a long time, more or less. If they decide to change things, then it changes. But for now, how plugins interact with combat is just how it mostly has been for a very long time. So anything I say now about what you can or can't do could change tomorrow, but it has been true more or less for a while. All right, I'm going to turn off my frames for a second. Little Galadriel says, we went to Minas Tirith last Saturday. We fly the coop Monday nights. Nice. Excellent, Melvoid. Next month, Crispy will take the flock to the Lonely Mountain. I post on Reddit. Nice. I'm a big fan of doing the chicken session play quests on at least my main character on a server when I can. But I appreciate the community around that, and I wish there was more chicken session play that we knew was coming. There could be more coming someday, but I wish we knew. Oh, they're definitely going to add something. That would be neat. Okay. Well, I've rambled a bit. We have a LOTRO points draw to do. And let's go ahead and just review where we are. Hytbold. Gotta actually type Hytbold correctly. Hytbold. So, where are we? We are able to show dots on the map where we want them to be. We're able to click on them and make them disappear. We're really close to having this thing all hooked up, in English at least. Little Gladder says, I want a deed for taking the flock to Mount Doom. Absolutely. Well, based on the name of Crispy, I was assuming that it was fire related. So we have made really good progress on here today. So let's go ahead and do a final giveaway. Like I said, this is going to be 3 draws for 100 LOTRO points each. And we're going to go ahead and call that the last draw of the night. And then after that, rather quickly, we're going to come to a close. So if you have any last minute questions, comments, concerns that you want to toss into chat, now's a great time to get that started. Well, we are announcing that it's about to close. Oh, hey, in this one, I actually have the right, not referencing Little Redhead. Yay. Oh, it says keep clicking on screen to move windows out of the way. I know you can't touch my stuff. So, once upon a time, I tried streaming with the game on one screen and my windows on another, and sharing the specific windows. So they'd be over on this. Oops! Don't shake that. Oh well. So they'd be over on the left side. Everything closed. All right, don't grab the top of the tablebar and shake if you're not prepared for everything to close. So it would be over on one screen, but I would be sharing it on the other one, and it was just so disconcerting. It just even though I can't see my face on the screen, and so I don't have a really great sense of what's being hidden behind there, just having them all in one place where, yeah, it's like, oh, that's on top of something, and just move it out of the way instead of having to go fiddle somewhere else. But yeah, anyway. Tom Ward says, do you think if the API opened up more, plugin makers would make more intricate plugins? I think plugin developers kind of push the boundaries of what's possible so often that if there was more things that you could do, they would be doing more things. Cat disappeared. Oh well. So as an example, the D Tracker plugin that I wrote a while back was one of those things where it seemed like if you took this little part from here and this part from here and this part from here and just did a bunch of research compiling all the deeds, you could put it together. But there's no interface in the LOTRO API that says someone just completed a deed or get information about in progress deeds. There's just chat text that says you completed a deed. And so it was very much I can take that and I can look at a large list of deeds to see if that was one, and then if it was, I can do something about that. So it was very much pushing the edges of what was felt possible, because there wasn't a way to do it with the API, but there was a way to do it if you were willing to accept some compromises, which is to say, if you complete Wolf Slayer, or if you complete Eyes of the Enemy, well, that could be a quest or it could be a deed. So Melvoid forgets it's not your game. That's okay. That's okay. Melvoid's pet peeve are maps. You don't like them at the original low level. I think you're saying the maps of the style of North Downs, this old paper map style. And I think this is a matter of taste. Personally, I really like this. I like the in-world idea that someone has scrawled out some stuff on a map, and it's not very precise, and it's not very complete, but they got a couple of roads in there, so what do you want? Right? I like this, because to me it feels like a more in-world thing that you would unroll in the Library of Elrond and be like, cool, there's some mountains in my way, I guess I'll go around them. And maybe there's a pass through, and maybe there's not, but who knows, because the last time someone went there was 200 years ago in a Wargate them. So they never finished the map. So that's my mental model of what's going on with this map. Whereas I get a map like some of the newer ones they put out, right? Like this Breeland one, which is topographically very beautiful to look at comparatively, right? Like this is neat to look at, but I don't, what generated this? Like, do they have hot air balloons, right? Like, where did this come from? And so it's more useful as a player, but it feels like with everything you do in a game like Lord of the Rings Online, you have the compromise between the source material and being in world and the aesthetics of an MMO, right? Like the swift travel between Rivendell and Bree, and it's like, well, that would have made Frodo's job a lot easier, right? Like it's a concession to players who are looking for not walking all the way to Rivendell from Bree. A bag that can hold 135 items, not very realistic. Like these are concessions that are made for gameplay, to make the gameplay more fun, compressing all of the distances so it doesn't take 2 weeks to make a trek across a single map. All of these things. And so I totally get the compromise of making the maps a little bit more usable, a little bit more human readable, maybe a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Totally get it. I don't have any complaints with people who like this. I get it. But for me, a map like this definitely feels a little bit more in-world, a little bit more, no one really knows because the field's haunted. So Fields of Fornost, what are you gonna do? There's probably some crypts over there. Good luck. Like they just point you in a direction and shove you out the door, and that feels, I don't know if authentic's the right word. That clicks nicely in my brain. So, but I have no problem with people who like the new ones. It definitely feels like this is the way they're going, and they keep on updating some of the older maps with this newer style. So North Downs is still there. It's not going to be forever. Avondale is still like this. It's not going to be forever. I have no inside knowledge, but I would suspect that they're going to revamp these as time permits, right? Like Ennivaith got updated recently, but Dunlin didn't. So it feels like they're just touching them as they touch nearby areas, because Ennivaith borders on Swanfleet. So as they were introducing Swanfleet, they touched the Ennivaith. So totally get it. It says, I get the aesthetic, but newer games have spoiled me, I guess. I get it, right? Like it's that pull between making things that appeal to modern sensibilities and whatnot. Although if you think those paper maps are bad, or just not to your taste, you should definitely check out on the LOTRO wiki some of the original maps when the game was. Oh, that's the wrong window. That's not even the wiki. Let's see. Look at LOTRO wiki. If we search for Eriador. Yeah, this is one of the more modern maps of it, right? But if we come on back to like the earliest map in the wiki, I love this thing. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's very pleasing. It's like this is the map that hangs on the wall of the mayor's office in Mickle Delving, and it's their best guess, right? Like the Shire is surrounded by stuff and things. Who knows what's out there? Here be dragons. I somewhat kid. Like, I don't think this is terrible, but it's not even the oldest one out here, because Forkhell's on here and Reachable. Like, there's older ones still where the world was even more incomplete, but it's this even more exemplifies that paper map's incomplete style of the world is vast and large, and people keep getting eaten by wolves, so we don't know where things are. Not very much. Like, this is very much a Fallen Empire kind of thing, where it's been hundreds or thousands of years since people have really been paying cartographers. Anyway, so I really like looking back at some of these maps. Like, if you go to Breland, and same thing. Let's come on down to the map here. Oh, that's 2008. That's not what I want. Oh, well, somewhere there's... Ooh, that's interesting. All right. That, I could work with that. All right, props to whoever, like, hand drew this Breland map. Varchadin. Like, well done. That's pretty. Huh. And it has the Wildwood, like it's a pretty recent map. Okay, that's great. Anyway, rabbit hole. Maps are great. I love browsing the wiki and seeing how they've evolved over time. Now, it is possible to use a plugin like MoreMap to kind of swap in whatever map you want for an area. It won't replace the M key map, but when you open up MoreMap, you can have alternate graphics in there. So if you have a map you prefer, I believe it's possible to do that. Crazy Life says, I like them, but I wish they'd make all of them the same. It feels jarring to change between the old and new ones. Yeah, I think it's just a question of time. Like, they only have so much time for the artist to render new old areas in a new style. So they're just taking them bite-sized chunks at a time is what it feels like. Gladriel says, I just want the cliffs to be more clearly marked. Well, you see, the people who ran off the cliffs didn't update the map. Fun of Vidberry says, I always like the older maps. Yep, I get it. I remember when the map used to be hidden until discovered the area, then places show up on it. Oh, interesting. That sounds like tech that I would really appreciate, like a fog of war kind of thing. Like you have inside of instances and caves and that sort of thing. I think that would be... that would be difficult on something like this. Well, in the maps like this, where they're divided into areas, like where you have the Nanghold area and the Harwick area and the Earl's Hollow area, I could see where you kind of just fill them in as you approach them. Yeah. Melvoid says, "Is there not a plugin called Terrain for that? The cliffs, etc." Yeah, there are plugins that give you access to a map made up of the radar tiling images and that sort of thing. I don't have it installed right now, but Terrain, add, and then extract. That extraction takes a noticeable amount of time. Cool. Galahad, you did so much good stuff. Terrain map. So if we load that, yeah, there you go. That's the terrain. That's a map if it were made out of the radar images. And so you can just scroll along. Now, you can go ahead and, let's see. I think there's a way to, yeah, scroll out. All right, there's Bree. Scroll in, please. Nope, I lost it. I don't know how to use this very well, as maybe we can tell. Wow, I've gone to Rovanian. That wasn't intentional. Oh well. Anyway, train maps are really cool. You can see some fun things in there. Potton Finberry says they had Fog of War in LOTRO. Interesting, but it was buggy, so they removed it and it never returned. Ah, that's too bad. Too bad that it was buggy. It sounds like a neat, yeah, again, a neat in-game, in-world aspect. Crazy Life says the cliffs aren't a problem. My Warsteed rubber banding off of them is. Well, I will say Warsteeds do an admirable job trying to not take you off of a cliff. Malvoid says, sorry for sitting off topic. It's kind of the nature of the stream. Anyway, let's give away some LOTRO points. It's like your 5-second warning to go ahead and hit exclamation point giveaway in order to be a part of this giveaway. Hilda Galadriel says, I just hate running into a wall and not knowing which direction to go to find my way up. I am fortunate in that I have a pretty good sense of remembering terrain. So when I go into, well, not the names of the terrain, apparently. When coming into Lothlorien and we come into Cairn Amroth, and you're at that stablemaster, I have a pretty good thing of remembering, oh, I need to go up the trail to the northeast to have the fast ride around and not go southwest. Like, things like that. They stick in my head. But only if I've done them a bunch. All right, I see a couple last-minute exclamation point giveaways. Awesome. We're going to be drawing this in like 5 seconds, so let's do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good enough. Okay, so awesome. 16 entries. We're going to go ahead and draw 1, 2, and 3. So we have Thunder Hunches, Phineas AF, and Tumbleward. If you are in chat, let's go ahead and say something so that I know that you are still here. And for my documentation, I'm going to be slightly distracted. Awesome. I'm going to take a minute to send those out. So I'll be a little distracted here. Feel free to watch me struggling with that. What was the purpose of giving these away? They're going away. We got to get them out to people. Do make sure you turn these in as soon as you can. When the new store comes out, we are told these will stop working. So, okay, we're doing... Alright, Flinder Hunches, I saw you in chat. I'm going to send you a message. Awesome. Phineas, did I see you in chat? Did you say something? I did not see that. Okay, and Tumbleward, I saw you in chat recently. I'll are you here? All right, Tumbleweed entered like last thing, so I'm going to go ahead and think that they are here. There they are. Okay. Sending a message. Oh, you have blocked whispers. You're going to need to send me a message to unblock me. In case you're not sure how to do that, click my name and select Whisper. All right, and then I did not see Phineas. Phineas, this is your last call. Otherwise, I'll be drawing another person. Tumbleweed, I see you.
Yeah, we didn't require people to be following glitches. Some do.
Perks, that is very optimistic of you, but that was the last giveaway of the evening. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Okay, I am not seeing no perks. I'm not seeing Phineas, so we're going to go ahead and draw one more. Ponton! Ponton Finberry, if you are in chat, now is the time to say hello. I see you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and try to whisper to you. I can. Awesome. Congrats. Awesome. Last time I was messaging you, it was May of 2021, so congratulations on only getting messaging from me when you're winning something. All right. I'm going to go ahead and mark those as done. Oh, Finner Hunter says Phineas messaged me. I'm sorry that they missed it. Okay. Wow, we did so much today. Lots of talking, lots of awesome questions in chat, lots of cool giveaways, and we also got some cool implementation here. The next thing up on this is when we pick up something from one of these crates, we get an effect. And what we want to do is look at the text of that effect and see, does it match what we said here for the outfit? This was a Helm of the Winter. I said Helm of the Winter, so we want to pop up a message saying, you got it, and remove all the Helm of the Winters from the maps. And if it was wrong, we want to say, you didn't get it, please click the circle so it disappears. So that's what we're going to be working on next time. And cool. So yeah, let's go ahead and bring this to a close. Is there anything else? Oh, yes. Melung is joining the stream team, and their first stream tonight is at 9 p.m. server time. That's Eastern U.S. time. So join them for adventuring back to Rohan as they start with a new High Elf Brawler. Excellent. And that being said, that is all we are going to cover today. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration of LOTRO plugins. I do hope to see you all here next week. And until then, keep plugging along. All right, bye-bye now.